Delves. Delves are huge. Delves are going to get bigger. They're only going to keep getting bigger. I feel like Blizzard likes Delve content. It's a great piece of solo content in the game. Great for the, the working Andys out there, the dad Andys, the mom Andys, and Greg from accounting in general. It's a good piece of solo content, a way to advance in the game. And Season 2 only makes Delves better. And Delves are super important early on in the season. Let's see this gearing guide here from Mr. GM on how you can use Delves to quickly gear out.
Hello there and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about Delves, and more specifically we're going to talk about Delves
video
in
about
Season 2 of The War Within and gearing.
Yeah, but this one's being watched by me watching a video of somebody else's video. So this is important, Libor, because I'm absolutely adding nothing to it.
Through Delves exclusively. In this video, we're going to go
Based
through
on
all the
everyone's
item
comments.
levels you need to know, how to maximize your loot and crest acquisition, and really just tips and tricks on how to gear up the best through Delves. But before we jump into that, guys, I do want to give a massive thank you to everyone over on the Patreon. Just started posting over there, and it's been a really great time, and I really appreciate everybody supporting over there. So if you do want to support me over on Patreon, you can check it out in the description. Right, so yes, Delves. We have officially completed our first season of Delves being a brand new evergreen feature to the game. I did a ton of my gearing through Delves in Season 1, and it was a really, really good way of gearing and a really consistent way of getting hero track gear. And to be honest, in Season 2 with these changes, it's an even better way to gear up, and you're going to gear up and upgrade your items a lot faster in Delves. And to be honest, we're going to see a lot more players going into those high
waste to this realm.
Ben W coming in with the W7. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
Level Delves, because they've made some pretty big changes here. Now let's just go over a couple of the changes you're going to see at the start of Season 2, which starts on March 4th in the NA region and March 5th in the EU. So once the season launches, you will see that your keys and undercoin will be completely reset.
That's right. Use them today if you haven't already, guys. It's undercoin and coffer keys are going to go away starting at reset tomorrow, so use them.
Down to 0. You'll have to acquire these once again through obviously the same methods you did in Season 1, so weekly activities, and of course the undercoin will come from Delves exclusively. We also do have 2 new Delves in patch 11.1 with Excavation Site 9 in the Ringing Deeps and Side Street Sluice in the Undermine, and you might have already done these already as they are available right now, which is awesome. We also do have new
I did do them already. You guys saw me do them on Friday on stream, but I don't know if they're going to get more difficult because I did a plus 11 of the new one. And I'm not sure right now if they're like scaled down to Season 1 difficulty and they're going to become more difficult in Season 2. I would guess they are, because right now I was able to crank through that shit pretty easily.
Variants of existing Delves, so the majority of the Delves will have new stories for you to explore, and those are available right now, as well as some minor mechanical changes like candles in Cobalt Delves and underwater breathing and things like that. There's just been some changes in general to Delves to make them a little bit easier and not as frustrating for a lot of players. You also encounter some new powers throughout these Delves to help you out, and of course, Brand does now have a tank spec and can go up to level 80. These are 2 things that you can do right now in the pre-season of Season 2. So yeah, you might have already played around with the tank spec, and it's pretty interesting. Like, it's more designed for healers, but you can use it as a DPS, which is great. But definitely level up your brand. That's kind of important. Yeah. It does help out a lot in these Delves.
Yeah, leveling up your brand is it's important, guys. We learned that when I was trying to do the Zekvir fight with my level like 20 brand to start, and I had to level him up a bunch towards the end of the season because I was so far behind. And we already know Underpin, he's the new guy who's going to replace Zekvir in these season of Delves, and he's going to do the same thing. There'll be a boss fight, question mark, and double question mark version. And if you complete the double question mark version, you get the mount, which is a really cool goblin-style dirigible mount. So you're going to want to do it, and the best way to do it, keep your brand up in terms of levels, for sure.
Now, one thing that is going to happen at the start of the season also is that you're going to have to unlock the Delves again. So yes, when the season launches, you will have access to tier 1 to 3, and you will need to complete a Delve with lives remaining to unlock the next tier. So if you want to unlock tier 5 Delves, you need to complete tier 4 with lives remaining, and yeah, that'll just continue on. So if you do want to unlock all the way up to tier 11, you will need to complete a tier 10 Delve with lives remaining, but that is an unlock across your entire account, which is great. So any other future alts won't have any problems with that. But yeah, it's just a one-time thing. You did this at the start of Season 1 as well, but you need to do that all over again in Season 2 because there's different scaling again. So let's talk about gearing. That's why you're here. So, regular delves. Regular delves are not going to be a good source of gearing, really. The maximum eye level you can get at a chance is 626 veteran gear. This will be warbound till equipped, but this is not going to be guaranteed, and it is pretty rare. The gear you're going to see more commonly in these regular delves is 610 adventurer gear, which can be upgraded to 632. Now, if you are just starting out on your gearing journey in Season 2, then maybe this will be a good source of adventure gear, but really, you could get that gear from like heroic dungeons and things like that, which is a way easier and more guaranteed way of getting loot. But yeah, regular delves, not really going to be a reliable and good source of gearing.
Yeah, best source of gearing from delves early in the season is going to be from your vault, and you're going to want to do, is it a plus, did they change it down to +7 instead of +8? This time around, level 7 instead of, but either way, 7 or 8, I think it might still be 8, giving you a heroic piece of raid gear from your vault. I mean, that first couple weeks, it's just another slot from your vault to kind of give you the best RNG possible for your gear.
However, Bountiful Delves. Yes, Bountiful Delves will be a very, very good source of gearing in Season 2. These, of course, do require a key to unlock, so you will get multiple keys per week from weekly activities around Kaz, Algar, and Undermine. If you do want to check if a delve is bountiful, the entranceway will be golden, and you can just look on the map, and it will tell you which delves are bountiful on that day, and they rotate.
My God, 27 coffer keys. Oh, my God.
Daily. So
Use
you do
them.
4 bountiful delves per day. Of course, you will need a key to unlock that bountiful chest at the end, which is where the majority of your gear comes.
Another thing about coffer keys, if you have any quests right now, maybe through old questing or old like renown track quests that you just didn't finish out, and you didn't turn them in yet, don't turn them in. Because if you wait until Season 2 starts, they should still give you the coffer key, but it'll be a Season 2 coffer key instead of a Season 1, and you'll be able to use it on the new Bountiful Delves instead of, getting deleted in the next day or two. So keep that shit.
Now, each tier of Bountiful does, of course, drop different types of gear. So to maximize your kind of gearing here, you do want to be completing a Tier 8 Delve with lives remaining. If you have lives remaining, you will be able to open that Bountiful chest as long as you have keys. Now, if you're not comfortable with doing 8s, you can do 7s. They'll also drop champion track gear, which can be upgraded. So that is essentially the same type of gear as a tier.
So delves +8's what I was talking about earlier. That's the sweet spot for your vault for sure.
Tier 8, but of course you're just skipping one of the upgrade levels for doing a Tier 8. Doing a Tier 9, 10, or 11 will not drop any different gear at the end of your Bountiful run. So yeah, if you do want to exclusively just get gear from the Bountiful chest, Tier 8s are going to be your go-to on this. Now, if you don't feel like you can do a Tier 7 or 8, you can do Tier 5 and 6, which will bag you some veteran gear. This can be upgraded to 645 item level, and if you still don't feel comfortable with that, you can do a Tier 1 to 4, which will get you adventurer gear, which can go all the way up to 632 once fully upgraded. Now let's talk about Crest. Now you're going to need Crest and Valor.
I mean, 639 was like peak item level, so getting 632, that's not a bad start, at least for an alt or something. If you maybe didn't do Season 1 at all too. Yeah, they are resetting coffer keys, so you're going to want to get them, use them all today.
Stones. Now, Valor Stones will just naturally come from delves and different activities you're doing, so we're not going to talk too much about those, but we are going to talk about Crests. Crests are going to be an integral part of upgrading your gear through delves, and with Season 2, there is some major changes here. So, Weathered Crests, the first version of Crests, will come from Tier 1 to 5. If you're chasing Carved Crests, those will come from Tiers 6 and 7, and then Runed Crests will continue to drop from Tier 8 to 11, with Tiers 9, 10, and 11 dropping more Runed Crests. Now, this is pretty much how it worked in Season 1. However, with Season 2, Tier 11s will now drop Gilded Crests 3 times a week. And Gilded Crests are very important because they are used to upgrade that hero track gear you're going to get from the Great Vault.
That's the biggest change, for sure. Gilded Crests from delves 3 times a week. I mean, that's huge compared to first season where you couldn't get it at all. So that's big for upgrading. Obviously, grinded out Gilded Crest through Mythic Plus is always going to be optimal when it comes to gathering up crests, but this is another way that you can just quickly get some crests.
Talk about in a minute. So per week, you can obtain 21 Gilded Crests.
Yeah.
Each run of a Bountiful Tier 11 will give you 7 Gilded Crests, with a maximum of 3 runs a week per character. Now, you don't need a key to open this chest, however, you will need lives remaining. So yeah, Tier 11s are definitely going to be important for you to do for your gearing if you can do them. Now, the scaling does seem a little bit lighter this time around. They might be a lot more doable than they were in Season 1, but if you are chasing the absolute pinnacle of gearing in Delves, you will need to do 3 Tier 11 Delves on Bountiful per week for those Gilded Crests, which are going to be used to upgrade your Great Vault items, which brings me to the Great Vault. Let's talk about the Great Vault. So, of course, the Great Vault is returning with
the biggest
Delves
deal.
in Season 2. Very similar to the
Gilded Crest and the Great Vault are the two reasons why early in the season, Delves are going to be really important, even if you're just a Mythic Plus runner.
previous season. You will have 3 slots which you can fill with 8 Delves. Now, to maximize your Great Vault every week, you do want to be doing Tier 8 Delves. That will get you a 6/4.
Hold on, did this change? 1 second. 2? You gotta do 2 of these now? Wasn't it just 1 for the first season? Did they change this now, so now you gotta do 2 Delves instead of 1? Wasn't it 1? Am I freaking tripping? No? Oh man, I'm losing my shit. I'm losing touch with reality, clearly, because I always thought it was 1 for some reason. Okay, 2.
8 Delves. Now, to maximize your Great Vault every week,
tripping.
you do want to be doing Tier 8 Delves.
Yeah,
That will
definitely
get you a
tripping.
649 Hero Track item. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing 8s, you can do 7s. And the good thing here is that they don't need to be bountiful. So any type of Delve, normal or bountiful, will count towards your Great Vault. So if you
Nice.
do want to just smash it out every week, you can just do regular Tier 8 or 7 Delves for Hero Track items. That's going to be a guaranteed source of Hero Track items. These items are going to be, of course, just
So that's why I was confused between Tier 7 and Tier 8. So you can do Tier 7 Delves for the heroic gear from your vault, but the Tier 8 will give you the heroic gear that's a little bit more upgraded. So you're using less crests and Valor Stones. So still Tier 8 is probably the best one to do, but you can do a 7 at a minimum.
items from Delves with a higher item level. Another thing worth noting in regarding to gearing, the Undercoin vendor has had a bit of an upgrade in Season 2. The Warband gear you can actually buy from the Undercoin vendor will now be Veteran Track gear. So that'll start at item level 623 and will be upgradable to 645. This is going to be unlocked through the Delver's Journey, which of course is getting a new one in Season 2, and the best way to progress your Delver's Journey is really just doing Tier 8 Bountifuls and completing the weekly quest every week. But yeah, that's going to go up naturally over time, not going to be there right at the start of the season, but if you do want to just smash that out, you can get some pretty easy Warbound Veteran gear, which I believe
Nice.
could be also used in the Catalyst, along with pretty much any of this Delve gear can be used in the Catalyst to turn into tier set, which is nice. One change that's happening in Season 2 also...
Oh, shit. J-Will came in and like pre-shot his load all over the chat. I was like, Kent raid, what are you talking about?
Have a realm to destroy.
What's up? Level Up Kent, thank you for the raid, man. Thank you. I was like, did I miss a raid or something? I'm looking at chat. I'm like, where is this? There it is. There it is. Yeah, big dick raid. Thank you, 165. Thank you so much, Kent. We're in here just watching about how important Delves are going to be starting tomorrow for the next season. Big, importance to Delves. Yeah, J-Will coming in extra. I did not mean to do it early. No, all good. You preempted me. That's fine. Thank you so much for the raid, Kent. And let's continue here. Just checking out why the Delves are going to be so important this season.
is a change to Delver's...
Also, big giveaway going on right now, guys. If you want the Sky Reaver, you just got to watch 1 hour of stream to get 1 point, and you can enter into the Iron Sky Reaver giveaway. That's right, the discontinued Iron Sky Reaver from the WoW store. I'm announcing the winner of that on Friday.
bounties. Now, you might have seen a couple of these in Season 1. I did a ton of Delves, and I really only saw 5 the entire season. But what they've done this time is the Delver's Bounty items have had a massive drop cost increase, but will be limited to 1 per week per character. But these are very, very good, and it looks like they have had a change in Season 2. So previously, when you had a Delver's Bounty drop, you could only use it in the tier of Delve that it dropped from. However, in Season 2, it looks like there is just a default Delver's Bounty, which can drop from any Delve tier 4 and above, and you can activate that in a Delve that's higher. So if you got it in a tier 5, you could potentially activate that in a tier 8 and get some really good gear.
That's really good. Also, those Delver's Bounties, some people went the entirety of Season 1, never got one of these. And then some people like me, I got like 3 or 4 of these in the first season. I had 2 at once, I remember, that I hadn't used. So these are going to drop a lot more frequently. They're also basically rigged up now, so that way each person is guaranteed to eventually get one. There's like bad luck protection behind them now. So everyone's going to get these. These are really good, extra piece of gear, and nice to see that you can use them at any level.
and get some really good gear, including a guaranteed 649 hero track piece and some of those elusive gilded crests. And these gilded crests are separate to your weekly amount that you get from the gilded cache.
Damn.
So these are just extra on top of that. So
That's
basically every week you want to be chasing these Delvers bounties from your delves and then activating them in a tier 8 delve or higher. So let's talk about the kind of best gearing methods here. So every week you want to be at least doing 3 tier 11 bountiful delves for the gilded crests. You want to be keeping on top of those gilded crests every week. Even if you're not getting gear that can be used to upgrade, you will need these in the future. But once you've done those, you do want to just continue to do tier 8 bountiful delves for a regular income of champion track gear, and of course just to kind of fill your vault. You want to be maxing out the vault every week with 8 delves at tier 8s, but these do not need to be bountiful. So once you've kind of maxed out all your bountiful delves, you can just do regular 8s to maximize your vault slot. And of course, you do want to just keep doing delves every week until you get that Delver's Bounty item, because that is going to give you a massive increase in item level from that guaranteed hero track item if you are doing this on a tier 8 to 11. So really, every week, if you are getting those Delver's Bounty, you do get 2 guaranteed hero track pieces per week from the bounty and from the vault.
That's crazy.
And of course, if you keep it on top of the rune crests and the gilded crests, you will be able to upgrade these items. So the absolute pinnacle of gearing through delves in Season 1 will get you all the way up to item level 665, which is insane. Pretty damn high.
Heroic level gear. You're getting heroic level gear via the delves, and you can upgrade the heroic level gear all the way to like myth level. That's insane. So I mean, delves early on in the season are going to be much more important than later if you're a person who doesn't just do delves. So I mean, getting in there when this season starts, getting your gilded crest, doing the plus 11s, doing the plus 8s and 7s, filling out your vault. All of this is going to be huge for getting a big head start on the season.
That is the maximum of heroic raiding, and really you would get that all on your own if you are doing delves solo, which is absolutely incredible. Now, you could get to that item level previously in Season 1, but it was a lot harder, and with these crest changes in Season 2, it's going to be a lot easier. So really, just do the highest level delve you can possibly do, and those items will come flowing straight to you, and you'll be absolutely juiced from delves in Season 2.
Get cocked through delves.
There you go, guys. That's my Season 2 delve guide. Hopefully it made a lot of sense. I know there's a lot of different words and things like that, so hopefully you understand the crest system and valor stones. It does get a bit confusing if you're not kind of already in that ecosystem, but yeah, hopefully that makes sense. But guys, thank you very much for watching. If you did like this video, please leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to support me outside of YouTube, I'm also on Patreon, and I'm on Twitter at Mr. GMYT, and I have a partner Discord channel as well. And I'm also streaming on twitch.tv/MrGM. We've been deep diving into 11.1, which has been a lot of fun. 11.15 coming up on the PTR very soon as well, so we're going to be jumping into that as well. If you do want to check me out on Twitch, I'm over on twitch.tv/MrGM.
Check him out.
And with that, guys, I'll see you next time.
Yeah, this is great.
Let us lay waste to this
New, thank you for the follow. Welcome to our Scourge. Really cool in terms of how delves are going to be even more important.
Without further interruption, let's celebrate.
Yeah,
and
talk about an
suck
interruption.
some dick.
Very nice how delves are going to be more important going forward for sure. Basically, doing delves can get you heroic to mythic item level. Insane. And doing them early on, like I said, is going to be even more important. Just gathering up all those crests.